From spooky legends past, down through generations, to haunted locations that hold a ghostly past. Come one, come all, come finders and seekers. Hear the creepy side of NEPA.
Welcome to the Creepy Side of NEPA. I am Dan Kosloski. Thank you for joining us on another episode from our 2024 Halloween season. Wow, hard to believe we're already in the middle of October. Before you know it, it's going to be Halloween, everybody. Before we get into tonight's episode, I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us. And if you haven't already, or maybe you're new to the Creepy Side of NEPA, please like, subscribe, or follow the Creepy Side of NEPA on whichever podcast platform that you're listening to us on. And also be sure to follow WNEP's Creepy Side of NEPA on Facebook. That is the best way to always be informed on the latest show information. Do you have a story you would like to share on the Creepy Side of NEPA? Maybe you have an idea for an upcoming episode. If so, we'd love to hear from you. Our email address is ghost@WNEP.com. Again, our email address, ghost@WNEP.com. Tonight we're traveling a little bit outside of northeastern and central Pennsylvania. We're traveling down to Douglasville, Pennsylvania, right in the Reading area. We're joined with Eileen Resser from the Brinton Lodge, a property that has been standing for just about 300 years, with its fair share of paranormal activity. Eileen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. I saw your place online, and it seemed to have a lot of paranormal activity over the years.
Oh, yeah. It was documented. The first documentation of the hauntings was back in the early 70s when it was investigated by a gentleman named, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. He was from Scotland Yard. Don Galloway from Scotland Yard. And he did a 2-week paranormal investigation there and documented 5 spirits. Not sure how they do that, but he did say there were definitely 5 spirits. And the odd thing is it's been very consistent through the years. We've talked to former owners, and the happenings have been very consistent over the years.
How old is the property?
The earliest section is from 1711. William Penn brought Thomas Millard over from England to build mills in this area and granted him 600 acres. So Thomas Millard built his first home there, which the very central part of the house is the oldest section. It was then added on over the years. So
property dating back to the 1700s, I'm sure, has quite a bit of history.
Yeah, 1711, and a lot of folks have walked through it. It hasn't been a home all those years. The first 200 years it was a home. A little more than 200 years, and then it became a gentleman's club during Prohibition.
And what exactly is the property used for now?
Right now, part of it is used for a brewery. Hidden River Brewing is on the property. They make all their own beer there, and there's a pub that's open Thursday through Sundays.
And over the years, what were some of the more famous paranormal stories that happened to you, your staff, or maybe even some guests?
Well, the most common spirit seen is a little girl. She's always in the main hallway of the section of the house that was built in 1910. We don't know who she could be. She looks to be about between the ages of, according to people who've seen her, between the ages of 8 and 11. Long, light color hair, wavy, with a long dress on. She has been seen looking out of the one door, but she just stands there and then just disappears. You don't see her walking around. People just see her standing there and then she's gone.
And it's always in the same spot?
No, it's always in the hallway, all 3 floors. The house is 3 floors, and it's always in that one hallway, all 3 floors that she's been seen since we've had it and over the years. The other thing that's pretty common, there's a black shadow figure, and that's what I've seen in the house. Some paranormal group caught it on video on the 2nd floor. I saw it on the 1st floor, but that's been pretty consistent as well. And then there's others.
So there's been multiple sightings over the years of all different types of hauntings, it sounds like.
Yes, the same things over the years. We spoke with the folks who had it back in the 70s. They're the ones, as I said, they started documenting all the sightings and happenings of the house. They owned it only for a couple of years, and then it became an Italian restaurant. So that operated for a good 20 years. Their staff, their customers, the owners, they've all reported various happenings in the house. Once we got the house, which is now 11 years ago, we've been experiencing the same things in the same areas of the house. We do know there have been 5 deaths in the house. I'm sure, being that old, there's been many more,
Sure.
But we do have documentation of 5 deaths.
Because I know, like, going back in time, when you're talking 1800s, not everything was documented back then, especially like it is today.
Correct. And even if it was a death of normal circumstances, you still got laid out in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Usually a lot of times buried on your own property back then. You had your own family plot, but that we don't know about. We don't know of any burials on the property, although we've had mediums tell us that they feel that the property itself is haunted. A lot of folks feel that because there's so much water around the property, we have the Schuylkill River right across the street, the Curlin or Mill Creek along the side of the property. There used to be a canal at the back of the property. A lot of people feel that water's a conduit for the spiritual energies. And many believe that that's why this building has remained active over the years.
I have heard that about water and also some minerals that seem to be a conduit also.
Interesting. Yeah. It's a creepy old building, let me tell you that. When I'm there by myself at night, it's some nights I'm fine. I don't feel anything. I go about my business, and other nights I go in there to either clean or decorate or whatever for the pub, and it's like, all right, this is not happening tonight, and off I go. Turn around and walk out.
When you bought the property, did you know it was haunted, or is that kind of a surprise to you?
We had heard it was haunted. We found that intriguing. We bought it to save it. It was going to get torn down, and we had done events for different organizations in Philadelphia, historic sites. We did preservation events for fundraising. We were getting older, and we thought we'd get one of our own near where we live, and this one was going to come down, so it was the one we decided to make an offer on, and we got it. Of course, it was, once they said it was ours, we were like, oh my goodness, this just got real, because it is big. It's 16,600 square feet.
Oh wow, that is,
so
it's quite large.
Big building to take care of. Yes. It's a money pit, to say the least, but it's been a lot of fun. Eerie fun, but a lot of fun.
So you said you've seen a few things yourself. How about one of the more personal stories that sort of stuck with you?
Well, the one was seeing the black shadow figure. It was shortly after we purchased the property. It was in really bad shape when we got it. The roof had caved in. All the plumbing and electric had been ripped out because it was bank owned and they neglected it. So we're waiting for the electric system to be installed. And I was there late at night by myself getting things together for our first event with one light and my little sewing machine set up. And all the windows were blacked out it was a Halloween event that we were going to do. So there was no light coming in from anywhere, no shadows. It was completely black except for that one light. And the shadow figure went between me and the lamp across the hall and down into the basement. I then had to run over and unplug and run the heck out of there very quickly because it scared the crap out of me. I called the former owner the next day and I said, hey, I saw this thing last night. What the heck? And she just said, oh, you're going to see that from time to time. So he seems to, and I immediately thought it was a he. It's very tall with it looked like a hat and a cloak on, solid black. Couldn't see through it. We do have a picture of it on our website. It showed up in somebody's picture in the pub. So he's definitely there. I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes. The other thing that kind of frightened me was not that I saw it, but I felt it. It was on the second floor. It was during the day, and in the summertime, it was warm, and I was doing some sewing. I was bent over. I had fabric laid out on the floor, and I was bent over cutting it, and something went up my back. It almost felt like something crawled up my back and through my hair. And I expected, when I looked up, I expected to see something moving in the air, like a bat or something.
Right.
And there was nothing there. It frightened me. It really did frighten me. I put the scissors down and I left. I just left everything there. And this was in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I don't blame me. I don't think I would stick around either.
A lot of people say they feel that they've been touched. There's a lot of that going on. There's an area of the house where one of the owners died of a heart attack. And a lot of people, when they walk through that area, they feel the pressure in the chest or vertigo. We get that a lot of times in that one area of the house. So it's interesting to watch people walk through and see what they feel without knowing what other people have experienced in the past. When they describe the same thing, it's like, there you go. It's the same thing happening over and over again.
Yeah, and especially knowing that they don't know the backstory, it confirms that you're not making it up.
Correct. But the other, we have a ghost cat that people will come in and they say they feel something rubbing against their legs at the bottom by their ankles, and I've seen a cat in the house, but we don't have a cat there. It's a black and white cat. I actually saw it in the basement, and there's no way it could get in the basement. So I don't know. We like to say we have a ghost cat. There's a spirit of an old woman that's been seen. She's actually been seen recently. When we first got the building, we did some renovations in this one large room. And once we did the renovations, we didn't see her anymore. But she used to walk catty-corner across this room and disappear at this doorway. Well, now people are saying they're seeing her on the other side of that door, and she goes up this one staircase, which I find pretty interesting. And we've had that report numerous times by different individuals on different evenings. So it seems to be pretty consistent. I wonder if it's the same woman.
And I know you just said it happened mostly after you did some renovating, and I heard a lot of that with stories over the years. Once you start moving things around in an older property or renovating it, it sort of stirs up the spirits.
Well, being as old as it is, we don't have the funds to do a great makeover all at once. It's little by little. Mm-hmm. The house is prone to flooding as well, so we're hesitant to put a huge amount of money into it. We do what we have to do to keep it standing, to keep it in somewhat decent order. The outside is looking pretty rough. I'm going to have to look at painting and doing some woodwork outside, but it does flood. So with the way things are going, it will flood again. The worst was in 1972 when Hurricane Agnes hit. There was 4 feet of water in the second floor of the house, and the house has 10-foot ceilings.
Oh, wow.
So it was pretty bad. So yeah, it's a scary property on all fronts, financially and ghostly.
It sounds like it definitely keeps you busy.
Yes, it does. It most definitely does. We'd love to have you come out and look at it, maybe take a tour with us.
We'll love to come out sometime.
Yeah.
Do you mostly do tours of the house? Is it just around Halloween time, or you do it all year?
Pretty much all year. The second floor is not heated or air conditioned, so
okay.
In the depths of winter, we usually stop doing them. But even in the summer, we do the tours. Not as many, of course. October is much busier, but we do offer them year-round. We also offer private investigations. A lot of investigation teams like to come in, and there's extended hours on that, and they're quite popular. And it all helps with the house, with the upkeep of the house.
Sure. It helps you with funding and the renovations.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And if anyone was interested in doing an investigation, come to see the property, or maybe they would like to see the picture you were talking about earlier, what's your website, or how would they get a hold of you?
It's BrintonLodge.com. They can buy tickets for the tour on that site. The phone number's on there. So BrintonLodge.com.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. It definitely sounds like a very interesting historical property.
Well, thanks for thinking of us. Like I said, we'd love to have you come out and join us and maybe get a little scare yourself.
As soon as I get a chance after the Halloween season, I'll take you up on an offer.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dan.
Thank you for listening to the Creepy Side of NEPA. I hope you could join us back for our next episode. Until then, enjoy the Creepy Side of NEPA.
This has been the Creepy Side of NEPA. If you have a spooky story that took place in northeastern or central Pennsylvania, send it to ghost@WNEP.com for your chance to share it on an upcoming episode. We're dying to hear from you.